What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now, for this video, we are going to be returning to the Milestone universe. We are going to be jumping into Icon and Rocket issue number 1. Now, if you're asking yourself who is Icon and who is Rocket, this comic series is going to be introducing you to them, letting you know exactly who these heroes are, where they come from, it's their origin stories. And if you end up liking Icon and Rocket, go ahead and check out my video on Static. We have issue number 1 covered with issue number 2 coming in the next couple of days. Now, if you are familiar with Icon and Rocket, you might end up seeing some small changes here and there that DC has made to the Milestone universe. But with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so as we jump into issue number 1, our story is picking us up in space, with Icon and all of his people making their way home. Little did they know, aboard their ship was a saboteur, an individual that was there to ruin everything. A shape-shifting terrorist that ended up pooping out a bomb, and this bomb would change the course of history. And while this terrorist is doing everything they can to set up this bomb and get everything into play, this is where we see Augustus Freeman, aka Icon, and we see him in his alien form. This is what he looked like prior to arriving on Earth. And we see him and the terrorist battle it out. But the hideous beast sprays him in the face with some acid, blinding him temporarily while his eyes regenerate. But this gives the terrorist enough time to escape. And with the bomb set, there is nothing he can do. The only thing he can do is get to an escape pod and try to survive. Unknown to anybody how long he had been drifting out there in space, eventually he made his way to the third planet from the sun. He made his way to Earth, and his ship goes crash landing into a sugarcane field in Georgia, the year being 1843. And this crash landing was seen by 2 slaves. Mary and her husband making their way to the crash site. Mary touches this. In touching this, we see Icon transform. He transformed from his alien shape into the human form, into a baby human. And his ship did this to him, specifically because anytime any high-functioning individual comes in contact with the ship, and the ship's passenger is in this state, it transforms him into the infant form of them. That way they can see it as not a threat. That way they won't kill him as soon as they open this pod up. When they open it up and say they see an infant human or an infant whatever planet they're on, their first thought isn't going to be to kill it. And so from that day forward, they raised him as their own. And as many of you can see, if you're not familiar with Icon comics, there's a lot of connections between Superman and Icon. And this is one reason a lot of people are really asking for an Icon movie. They're asking for DC to use Icon, because Icon is such a great character, and he's arguably one of the few people that could probably take out Superman. Now, this is where the story will take us to Dakota City, 1 month ago, and we're picking up with Raquel Ervin. Now, at this point, she's not a superhero. She hasn't become Rocket yet. Augustus Freeman, he hasn't become Icon yet. This day is going to change all of that. Now, Raquel, she's gotten mixed up with some bad people. She's trying to impress some individuals, and right now they're parked outside of a mansion, and their goal, their plan is to rob this place. But they need her to be able to sneak in through the doggy door, being small enough to do so, to be able to unlock the door and be able to steal whatever they want from inside. And after a little coercion, reluctantly she makes her way inside. She opens the door and lets everybody in. As they make their way inside, they are seeing a giant freaking mansion full of all kinds of antiquities and pictures, paintings, so much. Their jaws just drop. This place is a freaking jackpot for them. But as they make their way through the house, as they examine these paintings to see if they might be worth something, or if they're from somebody that is a famous artist, they recognize that it looks like the same person in every single painting. But it's also confusing because it's from different time eras, spanning over the last 100 years at least. Raquel, being extremely intrigued by this, she decides to start looking around the mansion a little bit more, and this is when she runs into Augustus Freeman. Now, for those of you that don't know, it's Augustus Freeman the Fourth, because anytime people start to question it a little bit, he just starts to play his son. He plays the next iteration of the generations. And so he's gone from Augustus Freeman to the second to the third, and now he is on the fourth iteration. So more or less, it's been about 4 generations that he has been portraying himself in this manner. And as he walks into the room, everybody freaking panics. They didn't think anybody was home, and now they are caught. And one of them ends up pulling a gun on Icon. They pull a gun on Augustus Freeman, and he tells them that that's a bad idea. That as it stands, you simply broke into my home. That is forgivable. But now pulling a gun on me, that's a whole different situation. We're playing on a whole different level now. You might want to put it away. But this guy is shaky. He's nervous, and Augustus is talking to him. The man shoots him right in the chest, and we see Augustus fall to the ground. And now everybody is even more panicked because they just killed someone. This just turned into murder. And as everybody is panicking, Raquel looks over only to see that there is no blood. And there is no blood because this didn't hurt Augustus Freeman. It bounced off his skin like a freaking gumball. And if there was any doubt that they were panicking before, that panic just went from 1 to 1 million. And they try running. They try getting out of here as fast as they possibly can. But Augustus Freeman, flying over to them, picks all of them up in one swoop and tells them that they're going to have a conversation. And he tells all of them that obviously there's some crazy things going on that you saw and things that you have done today. You broke into my house and you attempted murder. But because they saw his powers and abilities, he's willing to make a deal with them. That deal being, if they forget everything, if they never attempt crime ever again, and they forget everything they saw in this mansion, that he will let them go and there will never be a discussion about this again. And just to make his point clear, he levitates the gun over to him, and once it's within his grasp, he crushes it with his hand, getting the point across that if they don't agree to these terms, the repercussions would be far, far worse. And so with that, he tells Raquel that she needs to get her life together, and he lets all of them go, going back home, contemplating her entire life at this point. Everything she's been doing, the people she's been hanging out with, what her purpose in life is, and the fact that there is a literal superhero living in the same city as her. And thinking over all of this, she makes a decision. This decision leads her back to the house of Augustus Freeman. Knocking on the door and going inside, she tells Augustus that she believes he is the answer. She wants to be able to help people, and she believes he has the resources to be able to do so. Not only is he filthy rich, but he also has superpowers. Because while you sit in here and pretend that the world isn't having all of this craziness going on, you could stop it. You could choose to stand up. You could go stop those drug dealers. Even if another one comes tomorrow, you come back out tomorrow and you stop him. You never stop trying. You always put in the effort. And as it stands, you are watching as our community, as our people are failing. You could be the beacon of hope for them. Now, Augustus Freeman, he doesn't believe this. He doesn't believe this because of being an alien and having these superpowers. The world won't see him the same as them. And because of this, he doesn't think that they will follow his example. But that is where Raquel comes in. She wants to be his sidekick, or more or less a partner in crime. And though partner in crime probably isn't the best words, because they want to be superheroes. She wants them to be superheroes. And with having her by his side, with her being human, it will give other humans the hope. It will give other normal people that hope that they truly need. And obviously, she can't make him do this, but she plans to convince him in every way she possibly can. You have the power, you have the ability You have the money to be able to make change, so why not try? And this is where we get a little flashback of Paris in 1921, of a woman who we can only assume he is reminded by having Raquel here, by having her tell him all of this. Because she wanted the same things that Raquel wants, to make a difference, to make some kind of change. And it seems Augustus Freeman, he's tried this before, and it must have ended poorly. But he sees so much of her in this girl that he is willing to hear her out. He is willing to have the conversation. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I think this is an awesome start, a great introduction to who Icon is. Who is Rocket? This is introducing them to a whole new generation, really giving them the spotlight and showing what amazing characters are out there. Now, Icon and Rocket, if I remember correctly, they were brought in during the New 52, but after the New 52, they weren't really utilized. And so hopefully now with this new Infinite Frontier, with the new Omniverse showing itself, we're more than likely going to end up seeing Superman and Icon at least having a conversation. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.